Okay, in this video we're going to talk about that half wall and how we're going to build this half wall in our kitchen. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to find a wall, and this time I do want to designate a wall. I want to designate a 2x6 wall for my half wall that's going to come out, and I'm going to base my cabinetry off of that half wall. So I'm going to go back to REVIT. I'm going to work in my top view, grab my architecture tab, grab my wall tool, and I'm not going to actually save this. But now I'm going to go ahead and grab my basic wall generic, and I'm going to then hit edit type. I'm now going to duplicate the wall, and I'm now just going to call this 2x6 stud. Hit OK. And then I'm going to change the actual thickness of this wall so it's not 8. That it's going to be, 2x6 is actually 5.5 inches thick. I'm not even going to worry about the material right now. Then I'm going to hit OK. Hit OK again. Now I'm ready to start drawing with my wall. And I'm just going to go ahead and rough in this particular wall for now. I've roughed it in. I'm going to grab the wall, grab my move tool, and actually then move this to the back side of that corner cabinet. And I just want to make sure by selecting that corner cabinet that they are overlapping and they are in position. Now, given that if this was a real construction project, what I would then do is then I would start thinking about the cabinetry itself and how much additional space I may want to give to this particular wall for things not being square, things not being plumb. Obviously, we're going to have drywall in this corner down here that we need to start thinking about. The wall itself looks like this wall to the outside of the 2x6 is 12.11.5. And let's take a look and see what we have from here to the outside of this wall. That's 12.11.5. Okay, so we are in position currently with our drawing. Okay, so the only issue with this particular wall, and all of our walls for that matter, is we've never constrained the top of our walls to a level. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and just select the walls. I'm going to right click and then I'm going to do select all instances. Let me just grab one wall, then do all instances. An entire project, and I'm going to now connect all my walls to the top of my level 2. I'm going to grab this half wall, and again I'm going to go ahead and connect this to my level 2, and then I'm going to start saying, alright, I need to bring this wall down, and I want this wall to be approximately, the top of the wall to be approximately 4 feet. So by doing that, I can come into this and either wall selected in either view, but I'm doing this in my section view. I'm going to then come over here and I can do top offset from level, or I could change this instead of being level 2, make it unconnected, but give it an unconnected height of 4 feet. So by giving this an unconnected height of 4 feet, what that's going to do is bring the wall down. Now, as I look at this and say, oh wow, that's going to be a really high 4-foot wall, that's obviously not going to work. I get a dimension because I've given it a numerical constraint. I can now start pulling that down. And I can say, okay, let's make this 3 feet, and let's go 6 inches. See where that ends up. Not looking too bad. Comes up to the idea of what do you want to make your particular height for your backsplash. Standard backsplash is going to be 4 inches. I like to have these slightly larger, but it's on the top of the cabinet. So let's just stick right now with 3'6". We're going to see how the backsplash rolls in and the height. We can always move this up and down. Okay, this can always get adjusted. So let's stick with 3'6". And now we're going to start looking at this and say, okay, we now need to put a countertop on top of this wall. We also need to put a countertop on the cabinets. All right, because we don't even have cabinets here. So let's go ahead and let's actually first set that countertop on top of the wall. And I'm going to do this in my top view. I'm going to go ahead and grab my components, load family, go back into casework, look for countertops. And then I'm going to look for a countertop that's going to be an island countertop without a sink. We don't want a sink, so just grab the island countertop, hit open, and then I'm going to go ahead and position this against the wall, and now I've dropped that in position. Now, it's still set at the countertop height, all right, which is down here, which is fine, because I can then select the top. I select that countertop, grab my move tool, and then move this up in my section. That adjusts over here so I can see that I am based off of the standard cabinet height and I'm up 7.5 inches. So I know this is a 7.5 inch rise. Now I go back over to my top view and now I say obviously this is way too big. So now I'm just going to start adjusting this by using my arrows and pulling this countertop into position. Now, I'd like to have approximately a 16-inch depth counter or bar area, so I'm going to grab my dimension tools and go ahead and position this and say that this is 1'3" and 5/32. That's pretty close. So I'll just select it. That dimension now becomes a drivable dimension, so I'm going to go ahead and make that 1'4", which is 16 inches. Then I also like to have 12 inches from the edge of the wall to the countertop itself. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that dimension, and I'm going to select my countertop again. And now this becomes a drivable dimension. So I should be able to go ahead and put in 12 inches here. Now what that's done is has now pushed and positioned this out. Obviously this is not going to be large, or this is too small. So I'm going to go ahead and then grab this edge and say, okay, let's just make this slightly larger. We'll go ahead and position this at, say, 20 inches. Click back on my drawing, and that seems like it works. I got a little overhang. That's going to hide my backsplash coming up. And we start putting the backsplash in. We'll see if it is going to hide that or not. Okay, we may want to push this around a little bit. But this is the basics of how you're going to start setting up a half wall. And now can go ahead and start dropping a countertop in here and some other cabinetry. And we can start putting the rest of this kitchen here together. First, I'm going to go ahead and move my elevation out of the way. Okay, now that we have this set, let's go ahead and set the cabinets in that we need for the countertop. And I'm going to have to take a look at the elevation for the sink. So I'm going to go and find that sink elevation. This is the sink elevation, so I'm going to definitely need a double door sink unit. I need a door and drawer single, and then this is actually where the dishwasher would be. So really just a panel side is going to end up here. All right, so let's go back into Revit. And top view, let's go start finding some cabinetry. So components, place a component, load the family, grab casework. This time we need base units, and I'm looking for sink units. There's a double door. Pull that out, and can't remember how big. Is it 30 inches? Is it not 30 inches? Let's go back and look at the drawing. So that's a 330, so that's a 6-foot unit. So I'll pull this down and grab the 36-inch unit. And then I'm just going to go ahead and drop this against the wall for now. And then I'm going to start coming over to this area and go grab that counter, or that cabinet. And I believe that was a single door base cabinet. So architecture, components, continually going back into that load family to find the casework that we need for base cabinets. Now I'm looking for a single door and a drawer. That's what I want. So we're going to hit open there. It's going to pop up, and I got to figure out what that size is. Single door and drawer, it's a 1.9. Back in here to Revit. So there's a 21-inch. Grab this, and when this actually sits itself next to the drop that right there against the wall. That sits next to the corner cabinet, and then I can take and move my base cabinet. Slides over into position here. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop, actually I can just copy this. It's the same cabinet. Actually, no, that's where the dishwasher is going to sit. So basically just need to give space for the dishwasher and then the end of the wall. So the blank panel would end up out here in this area so the dishwasher could slide in. So I'm just going to then go ahead and grab a dimension, and we're going to make sure I give myself space there. So what I should have is somewhere in the ballpark of 25 inches for the dishwasher, an inch for the cabinet or the face, and then about 2 or 3 inches for the end of the wall. So if I give myself 30 inches here, that would be plenty of space to do an end panel and a dishwasher. So that would be the end of the wall here. Since we now have a wall here that's going to show where the end of the wall would be, the position, I can now go ahead and start setting the sink and set the sink hole in position. And then take a look at this view, so we can start taking a look at where this particular cabinet or the countertop should set in reference to the backsplash. And that will be set up in the next installed